Good day everyone! Today, we will be presenting the case study titled 2008 Global Financial Crisis. What happened? But before we formally start, I would like to introduce first the people who are responsible for this presentation. First, I am Jelomar Oliones together with Christian Aguilos, Ken Giland Aquino, MJ Melegrito, Kisi Heaven Paule, Kate Pesado, and Justin Saba. And we are the Group 3. 2008 global financial crisis was one of the most severe economic downturns in modern or US history. So, nagsimula siya sa United States, pero mabilis na kumalat across the world. And sobrang naapektuhan dito, of course, mga banks, businesses, government, and ordinary people who are involved during the crisis. So, para mas maintindihan natin yung global financial crisis ng 2008, we need to look back sa key timelines of events. So, very interesting siya upon discovering the story. So, the crisis started in 2000 when banks is nagbigay sila ng mga maraming home loans even to risky borrowers. So, sino ba yung mga risky borrowers? Ito yung mga individual with low income or unstable jobs. At first, this looked good kasi continuous nga yung pagtaas ng house prices and naisip nila na kahit di ko naman yan mabayaran, pwede ko naman siya ibenta yung bahay na mas mataas na price. So, doon nagkaroon ng housing bubble, yung pagtaas ng actual worth ng bahay sa pagbebenta nila since high in demand nga siya. So, this caused a housing boom because more people were buying houses and prices kept increasing. So, around 2006 to 2007 naman, nag-start na bumaba yung housing prices. So, maraming tao yung di na nakabayad ng loans nila. So, nagkaroon dito ng default increasing. So, this was the first clear warning that the system was unstable. So, simple way to understand, Lehman Brothers didn't just fail because of one mistake. It failed because it took too much risk in market that suddenly collapsed. And when trust disappeared, no one stepped in to save it. So, from 2009 onwards naman, the government had to step in with bailouts and economic support to stabilize the economy. But the effects of the crisis continued for several years. Then, noong 2008 naman, naging crucial na yung situation. Yung mga financial institution started losing huge amount of money because they were holding risky mortgage-based investments. So, ano nga ba yun? Ito yung mga financial products that are built from home loans, yung mga mortgages. So, but include loans from borrowers who are more likely to fail paying them back. So, banks began to lose trust in each other and credit markets started freezing. So, the most crucial moment happened when Lehman Brothers collapsed in September 2008. So, yung Lehman Brothers kasi, yung one of the oldest investment banks in the US. So, they were very large and trusted investment banks. So, in terms of bankruptcy, marami na alarma, nagulat, natakot ng mga financial institution kasi they thought, if Lehman can fail, any bank can fail and shock the entire world. No? So, it showed that even big financial institutions were not safe sa mga ganong crisis. So, after Lehman collapse, panic spread quickly. Banks stopped lending, stock markets fell globally, and businesses struggled to operate. So, this marked the full explosion of the financial crisis. So, paano nga ba kumalat yung crisis globally? So, after the crisis started in the United States, the effects of the 2008 global financial crisis did not stay local. It quickly spread around the world. So, one major reason is that global banks and investors were all connected. No? So, many financial institutions in Europe, Asia, and other regions had invested in US mortgage-based products. So, pag nawala na ng value yung mga investment na yon, nagsisuffer din ng losses yung mga ibang countries na connected. So, another reason is the structure of the global financial system. So, yung mga bangko around the world, masyadong nag-depend sa isa't isa for lending and borrowing money. Nung nagsimula na mag-fail yung bank sa US, nawala na rin yung trust and banks everywhere became afraid to lend money. So, this caused a credit freeze where money stopped flowing normally in the economy. So, in addition, a panic spread very quickly when investors saw major institutions collapsing, especially nga yung Lehman Brothers. They started selling assets and pulling out investment in other countries as well. So, this made stock markets fall globally. Because of this connection, what started as a housing problem in the US became a worldwide financial crisis, leading to recession in many countries, job losses, and economic slowdown across the globe.
Let's talk about cause of financial crisis. Housing bubble. During the 2008 financial crisis, house prices in the US increased too much. Many people believed that prices would continue to rise, so they rushed to buy homes and invest in real estate. Because of this, the housing market became overpriced and unstable. Second cause, subprime mortgage. Banks gave home loans even to borrowers with low income or poor credit history. These loans were risky because many borrowers did not have enough money to consistently pay them back. Even so, banks continued approving these loans to earn more profit. Lastly, easy lending poor credit standards. Borrowing money became too easy during this time. Many banks did not properly check if borrowers were capable of repaying their loans. Because of the weak credit standards, and many people borrowed more money than they could actually afford.
So good day everyone. Let's continue the topic about the causes of the financial crisis, particularly focusing on failures in financial institutions and the financial system. So first, banks took excessive risks. Many banks invest in high-risk loans because they wanted to earn higher profits. They approved loans even to borrowers who had a high chance of not being able to pay back, which increased the risk in the financial system. Second is the securitization of mortgage. Banks combine different loans into complex financial products called CDOs or collateralized debt obligation, then sold them to investors. The problem was that many of these loans were already risky, but they were still marketed as good investments. Third, there was an over-reliance on financial models. Financial institutions depended too much on computer models and calculation to predict risk. However, those models were flawed and underestimate the possibility of large losses. Another cause was the lack of regulation. Government oversight and control were weak at that time, allowing banks and financial institutions to continue risky activities without strict monitoring. Lastly, credit rating agencies also failed. Many risky investments were given high ratings, making investors believe these financial products were safe when in reality they were very risky. Overall, these factors combined and eventually led to the financial crisis, causing major losses for banks, businesses, and ordinary people around the world. So that's all. Thank you.
Para mas maintindihan natin kung bakit lumala yung crisis, importante rin malaman natin kung sino-sino yung mga major players or the companies na involved dito. Tatlo sa mga pinaka-importante na companies na involved dito ay ang Lehman Brothers, Goldman Sachs, at IIG. Unahin na natin sa Lehman Brothers. Isa itong malaking investment na bank na heavily invested sa housing market. Nang bumagsak ang volume ng housing loans, hindi na nila kinaya yung losses kaya nag-file sila ng bankruptcy. At dahil dito nagkaroon ng malaking panic sa buong mundo kasi na-realize ng investor na kahit malaking bangko pwedeng bumagsak. Next naman ay ang Goldman Sachs. Sila yung nagbebenta ng mortgage-related investments sa investors. Ang issue dito, may mga pagkakataon kasi na kahit alam nilang risky yung products, binibenta pa rin nila. So, may allegation din na kumikita sila habang bumabagsak yung market. Kaya nagiging controversial yung role nila sa crisis. Lastly, si AIG, isa itong insurance company na nag-o-offer ng tinatawag na credit default swaps, parang insurance sa loans. Problema sa kanila, sobrang dami nilang ini-insure na risky loans. Nung sabay-sabay itong nag-fail, hindi nila kayang bayarin kaya muntik silang bumagsak dahil sobrang laki ng epekto nito. Kinakailangan silang i-bail out ng government. Sa madaling salita, itong mga companies na ito ay may malalaking contribution sa crisis dahil sa pag-take ng excess risk, focus sa profit at kakulangan sa proper risk management. Hindi lang sila ang may role Hindi lang sila yung may role. Yung mga mortgage lenders, nagbibigay sila ng loans kahit hindi qualified yung borrowers. Samantala yung mga credit rating agency naman, binibigyan nila ng mataas na rating yung risky investment kaya maraming investor ang nagtitiwala at nag-invest. In overall, makikita natin na hindi lang isang company ang may kasalanan. So, system-wide failure ito kung saan maraming institutions ang nag-take ng high risk, kulang sa transparency at mas inuuna yung profit kaysa stability ng financial system.
Now, let's move on to the actual impact of the crisis. So, when the housing bubble finally burst, it
Good day everyone. I will be discussing the ethical violations during the 2008 global financial crisis. Yung 2008 financial crisis, hindi lang siya dahil sa economic problems, kundi dahil din sa ethical failures ng financial institutions. Maraming banks at investors ang mas pinili ang profit kaysa responsibility, kaya nagkaroon ng malaking epekto sa global economy. One major ethical issue was risky lending practices, especially subprime mortgages. Dito nagbibigay ang banks ng loan sa mga taong mababa ang income or may poor credit history. Kahit alam nila na mataas yung chance na hindi ito mabayaran, ina-approve pa rin nila. Ginawa nila ito dahil gusto nilang kumita ng mas malaki. Hindi nila inisip yung long-term consequences at kulang sa accountability. Next is misleading investors. Gumawa ang financial institutions ng complex products like collateralized debt obligations at ibinenta ito bilang safe investments. Pero ang totoo, mataas yung risk nito. Hindi nila nilinaw o minsan tinago pa yung totoong risk. Kaya maraming investors ang naloko o nakagawa ng wrong decisions. Another issue is greed at lack of transparency. Mas naging focus ng banks at executives yung profits at bonuses kaysa sa ethical responsibility. Nag-take sila ng sobrang risk at hindi nila dineclare lahat ng important information. Dahil dito, nawalan ng tiwala ang mga tao sa financial system. Meron ding tinatawag na moral hazard. Ibig sabihin nito, mas nagiging risky yung decisions ng banks kasi iniisip nila na ililigtas sila ng government kapag nag-fail sila. So, nangyari, yung profits napunta sa kanila, pero yung losses napunta sa public. Noong kumikita ang banks, sila ang nakikinabang. Pero nung bumagsak na sila, hindi sila ang sumalo ng lahat ng lugi. The 2008 crisis was not just a financial failure, but also an ethical one. Risky lending, misleading investors, greed, and lack of transparency all contributed to the crisis. This shows the importance of integrity, honesty, and accountability in maintaining a stable financial system.
Banks bailouts. The government provided financial support to struggling banks to prevent them from closing. Since banks are connected to the financial system, their collapse could affect businesses, jobs, and people's saving. Bank bailouts help stabilize the economy and prevent a larger financial crisis. Lower interest rate. Central banks lower interest rate to make borrowing more affordable for people and businesses. Cheaper loans encourage spending in investment and businesses growth, helping improve economic activity during the crisis. Increase in money supply. More money was added to the financial system so banks could continue lending. This prevented a credit freeze where banks stopped giving loans due to fear of losses. As a result, businesses and consumers could still access money for their needs. Strong financial regulations. The government introduced strict financial rules to reduce risky practices and improve transparency in banks and financial institutions. These regulations aim to protect investors, strengthen the financial system, and prevent future crises. Last is economic stimulus programs. The government increased spending on infrastructure, public services, and other projects to create jobs and support businesses. By helping people earn income, spending in the economy slowly increased and support recovery.
For the first guide question, should insider trading allowed? So, for me, No, kasi insider trading should not be allowed because it creates an unfair situation in the capital market. It happens when someone uses private or non-public information about a company to gain profit or avoid losses before the information is available to everyone. So unfair siya kasi di lahat ng mga investor have the same access of information. Some people are already ahead of others, which goes against the principle of equal opportunity in the market. So it also damages trust in the financial system. Kapag nakaramdam yung investor na yung market is being controlled by the insiders, they may lose confidence and stop investing. So this weaken the capital market as a whole. So because of these reasons, insider trading is illegal in the most countries and is strictly regulated to protect fairness and market integrity.
So, in guide questions, is all market manipulation illegal? No, not all market manipulation is illegal. However, most forms are illegal when they involve deceptions, fraud, or intentionally misleading investors. Some market action that influence price can be legal as long as they follow market rules and regulations. So, ibig sabihin, hindi lahat ng galaw ng sa market na nakakapekto sa presyo ay agad illegal. So may mga illegal strategies kasi na ginagamit ng investor or companies na pwedeng maka-influence sa price, pero allowed naman siya basta mas sumusunod sa rules. Ang nagiging illegal sa manipulations is kapag may panlililang na like spreading fake news, insiders trading, or artificial na pinapataas o pinapababa yung presyo just to gain the profit. Dito na pumapasok yung fraud. Kaya importante talaga yung regulations sa market kasi sila yung nagsiset ng boundaries kung ano yung fair at ano yung bawal para maprotektahan yung investors at maiwasan yung mga nangyayaring abuse tulad noong financial crisis noong 2018.
Are global investors responsible for local impacts? Global investors are partly responsible because risky investment can affect economies in different countries. Since financial markets are connected, problems in one country can spread quickly. However, weak government regulations, poor risk management, and irresponsible lending practices also contribute to financial crisis, making it a shared responsibility.